Well, now the Black Starz Sports Support Program is an initiative that seeks to successfully develop and groom learners and youths into responsible citizens of tomorrow, targeting underprivileged schools here in Gauteng. Now, the program is of the view that many schools in the townships don't have sports codes that can actually help and enhance their mental health as well as well-being. The program believes that sports can play an important role in the development of children, especially those from previously disadvantaged communities in the country. Well, joining us to unpack further about this rare initiative and its significance in townships is Program Chairperson Thabang Mabuza. Thabang, a very good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, tell us more about the Black Starz program and what sparked the idea to establish such an initiative.
Good afternoon to your listeners. Yes, I hope you guys are able to hear me audibly.
Yes,
as you have asked, my name is Thabang Mabuza. My name is Thabang Mabuza, an award-winning social entrepreneur from Ekurhuleni. And what inspired the idea is to just how do we best drive change and make sure that we change the way the society treats its children and youth. And the best way in which we can do that is through Nelson Mandela's vision, when he said sports is one code that can unite a nation. And using sports, we then thought as Black Starz program together with our partners through our partnership with the Gauteng Gambling Board, the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, the Gauteng Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, and together with the city of Ekurhuleni. We then thought, how do we best expose young people to two sporting codes that you will never ever, even if you dreamt about it in the current economic climate, you would see in a previously disadvantaged community. Those sporting codes being cricket and volleyball. And it is just to make sure that through the True Sporting program, how one do we make sure that we create exposure for young people from previously disadvantaged communities to access such sporting codes so that they are able to be exposed and we are able to create the next Makayantinis who are coming from previously disadvantaged communities.
All right, Thabang, I was also hoping in your list of these sporting codes that you're introducing, you'll mention swimming there. But of course, I mean, the program synopsis emphasizing the role of sports in building healthy lifestyles amongst our youth. What mechanisms do you have to quell what we see in our township schools currently, wherein there's an overindulgence in substance abuse, your drugs and alcohol, and sometimes even crime? How will then the Black Starz, with only sports in its basket, maneuver through these syndromes in restoring pride within our youths?
Thank you very much. And that's a very important question because, like you said, it forms part of our hypnosis as to why we do what we do. And part of it is that I think with a stronger public-private partnership, issues of drugs, adolescence, and other immortal issues that are faced by young people, as is now, you have young people that are on school holidays and there are no programs that are centered around making sure that they are active in their communities. And part of this program, which is why we strongly partnered with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, because its role is to change the way the society treats its children and youth, and that is done through a proper life skills program where we expose young people not only to sports, but to also alternatives as to how do they better self-sustain themselves, and also how do we best create after-schools program that can keep our young people more active and out of social ills that they are exposed in each and every day that they are from. And you would understand, in a previously disadvantaged community, you'd find that these young people do not have access to resources, they do not have access to even food each and every day. And we are also proud to announce that part of the program, there's a partnership with Kellogg's. Kellogg's has funded the program or sponsored the program with 7,200 cereals to make sure that no no child who is part of the program, one, goes to school on an empty stomach, or once they become active in these 2 sporting codes that we are focusing on in the next 2 months, they do not go back home on an empty stomach.
Congratulations on that, Thabang. Now, look, other schools I'm sure are going to be very jealous. Now, when your program focuses on disadvantaged communities, I mean, are we likely going to see its intervention in other private schools or schools in much privileged environments? Or do these not deserve what your program seeks to achieve?
Well, I love what the late Steve Jobs would normally say, to say you can only impact a full variety of society one dot at a time. And I think for us, our focus was more how do we further expose the young people from previously disadvantaged communities. But the advantage is that once these young people have been through what we call a knockout tournament in these 2 sporting codes, the winners will have the privilege to play with 3 of the best multiracial schools in Gauteng. And you would know that all these all mostly multiracial schools in Gauteng have access to sporting resources, the facilities and so forth. And part of the program is to make sure that once we get the winners, they are exposed and they play with young people who are in their age mates, but they are more exposed and they have access to resources. And that's the best way in which you can create social cohesion amongst young people, amongst fellow South Africans, but amongst Gautengers. Of course, albeit we'd want to have this program being a national program and also impacting young people from other previously disadvantaged communities and rural communities. But for now, on the basis of the limited resources that we have through our partnership with the Gauteng Gambling Board, we then thought, how do we make sure that we impact 1,000+ young people from previously disadvantaged communities in Gauteng, being schools, but as we grow based on the impact, we also call upon the private sector to say, how do you partner with us and create a formidable, strong public-private partnership that is centered around impact, but changing the way the society treats its children and youth.
Absolutely. It would make a great blueprint nationally, of course, there, Thabang. But of course, just to wrap up now, one of your mission statements there is, of course, to encourage transformation in sports using the program as a vehicle, and particularly by, as you've just mentioned previously, disadvantaged schools. How the relationship now of empowering youths through sports is going to contribute towards transformation in sports when only disadvantaged schools are the main recipients of your program?
Like I said, the unfortunate thing about any program that would start is that, or anyone will start, be it an initiative, is only reliant on resources. And we are fortunate with the minimal resources, we are able to impact on a particular sector of society. And we can only build from there. Our program is more centered around a 2 months impactful program, but it does not limit us. And which is why we are making a clarion call to say, with the limited resources, if one is able to create impact in previously disadvantaged communities across Gauteng, how does the private sector best form part and be part of this process? Which is why you also have your Kellogg's, who has come on board and said, enter our warehouse, take cereals, make sure that these young people who come to schools on an empty stomach are well fed, well nourished through our cereals.
Thank you so much, Thabang, for that great initiative. That is, of course, Thabang Mabuza. He is the chairperson of the Black Starz program, an initiative aimed at supporting sports in previously disadvantaged schools.